أخرجه الذين كفروا ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا وأنزل الله سكينته عليه وأيده بجنود لم تروها وجعل كلمة الذين كفروا السفلى وكلمة الله العليا والله عزيز حكيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters, I gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for great ni'am, lot of blessings. And the peak of ni'mah in ni'matul iman. Ni'matul iman or ni'matul Quran. Allah has given us this great opportunity that we are Muslims. And He sent His holy words in the noble Quran, full of hidayah and full of miracles. Dear brothers and sisters, you know that the Islamic New Year has just started. This is Shahrul Muharram. And this is the new year that if we are supposed to recognize, not the ones in December when people copy the other religions. They copy the kuffar and they celebrate another new year, which is nothing to do with us. And Muharram, as you know, is the beginning of Islamic New Year and is the time when we remember the beginning of the Islamic Hijrah. You know, Hijrah to Nabi, the migration of a Rasul from Makkah to Medina began the Islamic calendar. And this is the opportune time to remember that great event. When Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Nabi was Sahaba, they moved from Mecca to Medina. Great event. And as you know, the Muslims, the Sahaba, they were having a very difficult time in Mecca. Horrible time. It was a real struggle. The Muslims were tortured to the utmost. Some were beating until the person who was beating said, I got tired of beating Muslim. Not because I felt pity on his back, but myself I was tired, so I stopped. Look at the suffering. Until some of them, the skin of the back was peeled off. Some lost their eyes. They became blind. And of course, quite a number that were killed right in Mecca before the migration. As you know, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam spent 13 years in Mecca and 10 years in Medina. Until Sumayya, she was slaughtered, she was tortured, a barbaric death, a filthy barbaric death. I can't even describe how Sumayya was martyred, was killed by the kuffar. And her husband, Yasir, was no different. He was also killed. That's what they got in Mecca. And what is our brothers in Palestine? What are they getting now? Day and night, you see blood thrown on the ground, murdered, killed, day and night. The Sahaba in Mecca, one time they were expelled from Mecca. They went into Shaybi Abu Talib, right in the desert. And they suffered and tortured. There was a muhasara. They were under siege. Wal muqata'a. And they were denied everything. There were no dates, no food. No sha'ir was being sent to them for them to eat. Not for 2 days, for 3 years. Until the Sahaba started eating leaves. leaves of the trees. Just like goats and sheep and cows eat, and camels, they started eating leaves. Tough time. 3 years. Until when they came back, when that muhasara was over and they returned to Mecca, they were in a terrible state. Especially the old among them. One of them was Khadija bint Khuwaylid, radiyallahu anha, the wife of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Being an old woman, eating leaves, what do you expect? She started becoming thinner and thinner. Wasting, her body was wasting, unemaciated, until when she returned to Mecca, sooner than later she died. An old woman. She could not sustain on leaves of trees. We don't have the bacteria in our stomachs like the goats and sheep that Allah helps them to digest leaves. We human beings, we don't have the bacteria to digest cellulose from the leaves in our stomach. She died. And the uncle of Rasul, Abu Talib, he was not spared. Sooner than later, he started wasting, emaciated, thinner and thinner, and when he arrived, when they returned to Mecca, he passed away. Couldn't sustain. The whole body cannot sustain that torture and hunger and thirst. Until that year is called Amul Huzn, because the Rasul was very sad. He lost all his support. Khadija bint Khuwaylid, she was the pillar of Rasul in the bayt, in the house, at home. And Abu Talib, another pillar of Rasul outside his house, his home. And both of them have gone away. He was very sad. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consoles our Rasul. He comes to soothe his heart. He says Surah Yusuf, min awwaliha ila ya'iha, from the beginning to the end. And these are the few long surahs which are revealed to the Prophet, complete. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, whoever is sorry, whoever is in grief, whoever is sad, whoever is in pain with his heart, should recite Surah Yusuf. It will comfort his or her heart. Allahu Akbar. So this chapter, whole chapter of the Quran, was sent to Rasul in the Yawm al-Huzn, in the year of sadness to our Rasul, losing the pillars at home and a pillar outside. And then, of course, he was taken to Mi'raj. Above, ila Sidrat al-Muntaha, to the last tree, he was taken up above the heavens, above the 7 heavens, to console our Rasul because of his sadness, because of his grief. What is happening to our brothers in Palestine? They denied even water, and they are also eating leaves. You can see this struggle between al-haqq wal-batil. The Sahaba was fighting and defending Bayt al-Haram, the great masjid, the great haram of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Mecca. And what are Palestinians doing? They are saving, struggling, preserving, trying to protect Masjid al-Aqsa. أولى القبلتين, the first qibla for Muslims, Bayt al-Maqdis. And then ثالث الحرمين, a great 3 haramain. One of them is Masjid al-Aqsa. And this is what the brothers are doing. Just like the Sahaba were protecting and defending and claiming Bayt al-Haram in Mecca. So you can see, again, the struggle. So when the time was right, when the time had come, ijtama'u, they collected themselves. The Kuffar, the Quraysh, they had a funny parliament called Darun Nadwa. They collected there in that small parliament of theirs. One of them was saying, "Ihbisu, tie Muhammad with ropes, put him in a small room, and then we'll finish with him. We'll finish with Muhammad that way." And Iblis, Iblis always whisper in the ear, "Do this bad, do that sin, do that." That day he didn't whisper. He came as a body, as a human being, as a Shaykh min al-Najd, as an old man, as a chief coming from a place called Najd in the Arabian Peninsula. He stood up and said, "Ma huwa bid'ah, this is not an opinion. You know Muhammad has got these magic words. They're not magic words, but it's Saturday. But he said that Muhammad has got these magic words. He will blow the rope, they will dissolve, and he will run away." Wakama sign. Another one stood up. "Utrudu, chase Muhammad from Mecca." And he gets this list himself. You know why he came in person? He said, "This is the golden chance. I will never get this chance to kill Muhammad except today. So I have to come as a body, not a whispering, not talking through into their ears. No, I'll come them as a path." And he stood up again as an old man from Najd, Iblis. "Ma huwa bid'ah, this is not an opinion. You know Muhammad has got his sweet magic tongue. Wherever you chase him to, he will convert all those people into Islam, and they will come back here to Mecca, and they will kill you. All of you." Then Kama al-Jahil. Then the great idiot, the great Jahil, ignorant, Abu Jahl stood up. "Nakhtaru min kulli qabila shaban kawiyan taliyan fatiyan. Nakhtaru majmu'a." We will select from every tribe in Mecca a young muscular man, and we give him a sharp sword. "Nakhtaru majmu'a yakifuna ala babihi." He will stand in front of the house of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَإِذَا أَرَادَ أَنْ يَخْرُجَ انْقَضُّوا عَلَيْهِ الْفِتْيَةِ. When Muhammad tries to come out of his house, they will all jump like a pack of wolves, like dogs, like the dogs in savannah. These dogs who come from every direction. بِضَرْبَةٍ وَاحِدَةٍ كَسَيْفٍ وَاحِدٍ. They will all jump and cut the throat of Muhammad. فَقَدْ خَلَصْنَا مِنْهُ إِلَى الْأَبَدِ. And then we will finish with Muhammad and his deen forever. Jahil. He was ignorant. وَيَظُنُّ أَنْ يَقْضِي عَلَى دِينِ الَّذِي أَنزَلَهُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَوْقِ سَبْعِ السَّمَاوَاتِ. He thought that he would just wipe this deen is strong. Allah anzalahu, Allah brought it down from above heavens, 7 heavens. And he thought that they could finish. So يقفون أمام داره. So they stand in front of the house of Rasul. وإذ محمد يخرج من بيته لا يرونه لا يسرونه عن محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أشرف الأنبياء comes out of his house, but they don't see. فإنها لا تعمل الأبصار لكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. It is not these eyes that see. These are just boxes of camera. They chuck the image and then send it to the brain and send it to the heart. It is the heart, Allah says. فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. That is the blindness of the heart that is in the chest. He moves out ويردد and he was repeating. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was repeating and he was saying, وَجَعَلْنَا, and he was reciting the verse, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ صَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ صَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. Allah says, we put a barrier in front of them. We put a barrier behind them. فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ, we cover them. We cover their brain, we cover their heart. فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ, they can't see. So the image was going into the retina, but there was no vision. They know this is Muhammad, he's passing. We are supposed to kill him. And he's passing and he goes to the house of Abu Bakr. And he was throwing turab, sand on top of them. And he was saying, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ صَدًّا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ صَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. And he moves to the house of Abu Bakr. And together they moved to Ghali Thawr. In there, in Ghali Thawr, they stayed for 3 nights. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he knew that Medina is in the north. But he didn't travel the north. He went south to the Ghali Thawr so that the mushrikeen, when they want to chase him, they will go north. But they have gone south. And this is the Makida, this is the tactic in jihad. You always try to fool your enemy. You don't let him have an easy time. To fool him. But even then, Abu Bakr finally sees. Because when Abu Jahl said, we'll slaughter Muhammad, فَيَنْتَشِرُ دَمُهُ, when we slaughter Muhammad, and his blood is spread among all the tribes of Makkah. And there were not less than 30 tribes in Makkah. And Banu Manaf, this is the tribe of Rasul, was only one. How can Banu Manaf fight 32 tribes of Makkah? They can't. فَلَنْ يَرْضَى إِلَّا بِالدِّيَّةِ. They just take blood money. They can't take revenge. And the diya, blood money at that time was 100 camels. We give them 100 camels and we finish Muhammad. So they travel south and Rasul and they go to Ghali Thawr and they hid there for 3 nights. وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ أَمَامَ غَارٍ. And Abu Bakr sees the feet of the mushrikeen in front of them there. The cave was not a high cave. It was a low-lying cave. Ghali Thawr was low down. So Abu Bakr looks and he sees the feet of the Quraysh in front of him. And he says, Rasul, لَوْ نَظَرَ أَحَدٌ تَحْتَ قَدَمَيْهِ لَرَآنَا. If one of them was to look at his feet, he would see us. And Rasul, with a lot of thiqah, with a lot of confidence, with a lot of yaqeen, he says, مَا ظَنُّكَ بِاثْنَيْنِ اللَّهُ ثَالِثُهُمَا يَا أَبَا بَكْرَ لَا تَحْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا. Don't you say that Allah is with us? What do you think of 2 people? The third is Allah. Can you fight Allah? You can't. And he consoles Abu Bakr in the Ghali Thawr. They came up to there, and again, a second time, they can see Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the Ghali. In front of them, just look at your feet and you see them. But they couldn't see them. So they went away. So then, they continue northwards towards Medina. As they continue northwards towards Medina, Suhaib al-Rum, As-Sahab al-Jalil. Before we go to Suhaib al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِلَّا تَنْصُرُوهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَهُ اللَّهُ إِذَا خَرَجَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا ثَانِيَ اثْنَيْنِ إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ لَا تَحْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا فأنزل الله سكينته عليه وأيده بجنود لم تروها وجعل كلمة الذين كفروا السفلى وكلمة الله هي العليا. الله أكبر. Even if you don't have Muhammad, we have been long time ago when the mushrikeen forced him to migrate to Medina. And when they in the Ghar, which brought peace, security, tranquility to the heart of Rasul, so that it doesn't feel any harm, any anxiety at all. We remove that anxiety. And then Allah says, we didn't say to one malaika, but you know the thousands and thousands of malaika. One malaika will be enough to protect them. But look, you know, many soldiers, and you know the soldier. وَمَا لَا تَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُوَ. You don't know the great soldiers of Allah except Allah Himself. He knows them. And of course, some of them were malaika. But Allah has got many junoods. Has got many soldiers. And then that's what Allah described. The way He protected Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa Abu Bakr in the Ghar Thawr. And even this Ghar, you learn a lot of things. There are a lot of durus, a lot of lessons. Durus mahabba fi Allah. To love your brother because of Allah. You learn it in this event. Because before Abu Bakr, later Rasul entered the Thawr, Ghar Thawr, the cave of Thawr. He told me, Ya Rasulullah, stand, interview, wait. He went inside, he took his piece of cloth and cut into pieces and plugged all the holes in the cave. But there was one, he didn't have anything to cover, so he put his heel into the hole. The heel of his foot, he plugged it into the hole in the Ghar Thawr, in the cave. And the Rasul, Na'imun ala fakhidayhi, and the Rasul was sleeping on his side. He's tired. You know, if you go to Mecca, you look at the Ghar Thawr, it's a huge mountain. It's no joke. You have to climb, it's very hard climb. And Rasul was sleeping on the lap of a Rasul. فجاءت الأقرب, and then a scorpion came and stung Abu Bakr. وَيُسُمُ يَجْرِي فِي أُرُقِهِ, and the poison started climbing in the leg of Abu Bakr to his knees, to his thighs, to his hips, to his heart, to his brain. Very severe pain. I once saw when I was a kid a person beaten by a scorpion. I tell you, brother, he cried until the eyes became red. You think blood was coming out of his eyes because of the sting of a scorpion. Extremely painful. But what did Abu Bakr do? Did he jump? Shake? No. لم يتحرك. He didn't move. He didn't want to wake up as Rasul, who was sleeping on his side. لم يتعوه. He was not groaning. He was not groaning. Quiet. He was just persevering as the pain, as the sum, as the poison was rotating and moving in his bloodstream from one area to another, to his heart, to his chest, to his brain, until سقطت الدمعة على خد رسول الله, until one drop of his tear fell on the cheek of a Rasul, or وَنَائِمٌ عَلَى فَخِذَيْهِ, until one drop of the tear hot tear, because it was very painful, dropped on the cheek of Rasul. فَاسْتَيْقَظَ, and Rasul woke up. مَا لَكَ يَا أبو بكر? What's the matter, Abu Bakr? دَخَلْتَنِي الْأَقْرَبُ. A scorpion has come and stung me. فَدَعَا لَهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a dua, and then وَتَفَلَ, and did it. فَبَدِيَ. Immediately he was cured. And Rasul did dua and threw tiny drops of saliva on the wound of Abu Bakr. فَبَرِيَ, he was completely cured. He didn't use a morphine injection. He didn't use an orphan injection. He didn't use Panadol. And Abu Bakr was cured completely. Look, dear brothers and sisters, the miracles of Rasul. Look at the mahabba fillah. Look at the love of Abu Bakr for Rasulullah, for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at the mahabba, the love in this cave. وسهيل الروم يمشي يسافر إلى المدينة. Suhaib al-Rum was also traveling, doing hijrah, going to Medina. فقام قريش على طريقه. The Quraysh stopped him on the road. يا صعلوك جينا فقيرا وزرعت المال عندنا واليوم تخرج منا. You came here, you Suhaib, you came here to Makkah, poor miserable men, and you made all your wealth. You made all your wealth and money here in Makkah. فَالْيَوْمَ تَخْرُجُ مِنَّا. Today you are moving away, meaning you are moving away with your money back to Medina. So every room tells them, if I show you where I kept my money, where I hid my money, will you let me go through? They said, yes. So Dallahum ala mali, he showed them where he had hidden his wealth. The Quraysh took the wealth and they let him. And in Quba, he sees the body of Rasul. Rasul had already migrated to Medina. And when he reached Quba, he sees Rasul shining, smiling. رَبِحَ الْبَيْءَ أَبَا يَحْيَى. رَبِحَ الْبَيْءَ أَبَا يَحْيَى. He tells Suhaib al-Rum, your contracts, your tijara, your business you have done with Allah has prospered, meaning you have got to Jannah. Allahu Akbar. You are going to be inheritors, and you know in Jannah there are more wealth than this wealth of this dunya. But dear brothers and sisters, let's ask how many of us will give all their wealth for this deen of Islam. Who are going to? You can see this again. The sacrifice that Sahaba did. يطالب سراقة ibn Malik ليكسب 100 من الإبل. You know when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam left Mecca, migrating to Medina, the Quraysh had put their notice, wanted, just like you hear these days on the internet. So-and-so wanted in America. And what did he get? $1 million. They did the same with Rasul. Wanted, hayyan aw mayyitan. We want a Rasul. Whoever brings a Rasul here back to Makkah, he's got 100 camels. For the wealth of this day and age, it's like he's going to be given top-rate Mercedes, 100 of them, who brings Muhammad back. And we don't mind even if he brings him dead. We still dead, that they kill him and bring him his body here, we'll give him 100 min al-ibil, and red camels, a lot of money, a lot of wealth. And Suraqah ibn Malik is seeing that so much wealth, he says, let me go after Muhammad. He takes his horse and he swiftly runs towards Muhammad and Abu Bakr. And you know, Suraqah ibn Malik was an expert. Allah had given him the skills of tracking. Those days there were no satellites, GPS tracking. Like if your lorry now, you want it not to be stolen, you put a tracking, GPS tracking, so that the thieves will be caught and you get your lorry back. And that's what Suraka used to do in Makkah. If somebody, slave runs away, Suraka ibn Malik will bring him in no time. He will bring him back to Makkah. If his camel runs away, Suraka ibn Malik will get the camel and bring it back to Makkah. Of course, you have to pay. It's not free of charge. So Suraka, good, as he was a tracker, he tracked Rasul, and he says the Rasul there, not very far. And Abu Bakr is there, not very far. But what happens? Ra'a qadama farasi taghusani fil ard. He suddenly sees the front leg of his horse sinking into the earth. And it's not like the Bamburi beach where it's just soft sand. So the hooves and the front legs of the horse enter easily on the soil. It was hard rock. It was a rock. And still the front legs of the horse of Suraka ibn Malik enter into the earth and he falls forward. And he tries to pull it out and he pulls it out and he tries again. It happened not less than 3 times. He nearly broke his neck because of these falls. So what he said, Ya Mohamed, uktub li aman, I've given up. Write me a peace treaty. Write me a peace treaty. That I'm not going to fight you and you're not going to fight me. So Rasul, does he tell Abu Bakr, you know this guy, he didn't come with flowers. He didn't come with the fruits. He came to kill you and me. So, uqtulhu, kill him. Iqta ra'sahu, cut his throat. No. Rasul didn't tell Abu Bakr, kill him. He says, uktub lahu aman. He wants a peace treaty. Write for him this peace treaty. So Abu Bakr writes a peace treaty between Suraka ibn Malik and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when he was writing, Rasul comes close to Suraka ibn Malik and says, Ya Suraka, kayfa bika wa siwarai kissa fi yadayk. How are you going to feel one day when the big bangers of Kisra was the king of Al-Furs, of Persia, what is called Iran now. That time it was a superpower. It was a great power. And the king was very rich. And he had these huge bangers. Not the ones, the Kalasingers, 6 feet. They were made of iron. These are made for thick gold. And they embedded diamonds and pearls and jewels all around it. Very thick, very expensive. And Rasul says, you are going to get those bangles. He tells Suraka ibn Malik. Maza taqul? Suraka tells Rasul what he's talking about. Me, I'm going to get the bangles of the mighty, powerful king of Furs, of Persia. He says, Naam, Ya Suraka. Yes, Naam. Anta rajul la tadri. Where you are a person, you don't even know whether you are going to reach Medina, and you're telling me I'm going to. Naam. He told him, Naam, yes. 25 years later, Al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has passed away. Abu Bakr has passed away. The Khalifa was Umar ibn al-Khattab. And Umar, he sees the booty, the spoils of war coming from Persia. And they use sajjad, big carpets, not of these made of plastic, from pure silk, very expensive, millions and millions of dollars carpets coming from Persia. They were all brought there. There was a lot of gold. There was a lot of silver, all piled in front of him. And Umar was looking at it. And what was on top? On top was Siwari, the 2 bangles of the king of Kisra was on top. And Umar said, Aina Suraka? Where is Suraka? Call Suraka. Because Suraka went back to Makkah at that time. He invited to Islam. And now it is the time of Umar. So Suraka is brought. And he takes the bangas and gives it to him. Deenul Wafa, this is a religion that fulfills its promise. If you are told by Islam that you are going to get this, be sure you are going to get it. Deenul Haq, this is a true religion. But you may say, Rasul gave these 2 bangas to Suraka bin Malik. What has he given to us, me and you? Na'am. He's given us more valuable than the bangas of Kisra. He says, عن أبي سعيد الخدري من صلى البلدين دخل الجنة. متفق عليه. Very sound hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim. He says, whoever prays the 2 difficult prayers, he will enter paradise. What are these difficult prayers? One of them was Asr. And it is bad because in Makkah and Medina, when it's time for Asr, it's not like during Dhuhr. During Dhuhr, this desert is burning. It is very hot. But during Asr time, it is cooler. Not only that, if we have a shop, the customers at Asr, they're entering in flocks. Many are coming. I want this shirt. I want those shoes. I want the trouser. So it's very difficult for the shopkeeper to say, let me close the shop. I want to go pray Asr. It's a difficult prayer because selling is so sweet at that time. And then Salatul Fajr. Especially now in Nairobi, it's chilly, very cold in Nairobi. The blankets are very warm. Now to leave the warm blankets and go and take wudu and pray Salatul Fajr, very difficult. This is this Baldain. Asr wal Fajr. So our Rasul says, if you pray these 2 difficult prayers, surely you are going to pray the other prayers which are easy. Dakhal al-Jannah, you will enter paradise. Allahumma jannah minhum. That's what the promise. Just like he gave to Suraka, he has given you to and me that we should do that. And in Jannah, Kisra, the bangas of Kisra are worthless, the more valuable things in Jannah, more than the bangas of Kisra, the king of Persia. But the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he reaches Medina, he say, "Hada qita'un min al-layli li." This piece of land is mine. That Adi is me. That farm, that al-Bustani is me. Ijma'li ghanaman. Collect all the goats and sheep and bring them here. Ijma'li jamalan. Collect all the camels, bring them here. It was happening in Kenya. This land, as soon as somebody comes in, this land is gone. That piece of land has been taken away. Another piece of land is stolen. And then there's a scandal, number 1. Then scandal number 2. Stealing. Scandal number 3. Scandal number 4. Number 5. You can count them until you are tired. Land being grabbed. Land of the people of time of people, poor people, are stolen. And also a scandal after scandal. Stealing after stealing. That's what happened here in Kenya. Did Rasul do the same thing in Medina? No. What siyasa? What politics? He did the politics of ukhuwa, brotherhood. He took a brother from Makkah, al-Muhajir, and made him a brother to a person in Medina, al-Ansar, and made them into brotherhood. Until the Ansar tells his brother from Makkah, I've got this wealth, I've got these gardens, I will divide them into half. You take a piece, and I take a piece of it, half of it. I give half of my wealth, of all my bustan, of all my gardens, half of them I give it to you. and I've got 2 wives. I don't choose. You look at them, choose whom you like among 2 wives I have. I will divorce her. After iddah, I'll marry my wife to you. Barakallahu fi malik wa fi azwajik. The Sahaba says, may Allah bring barakah to all your wives. Bring barakah to all your family, your ahl. Dulluni ila suq. Show me where the market is. I want to go to the market and do business. And that Sahaba became a multi-billionaire. He got so rich, you can't even imagine. That was the siyasa. That was the policy of Rasul. When he reached Medina, he brought brotherhood between the Muhajirin and Ansar until they reached that stage which I have just described. Then Rasul, do you know, brothers and sisters, he didn't enjoy his life, especially in Mecca. When he moves, they call him Majnoon. Whenever he walks, they call him this madman. When he sits, Sahir, witch doctor, they insult him, witch doctor. Or Kahin, soothsayer. That's what they used to do. He's doing dawah, Qul la ilaha illallah, and they call him Majnoon. Qul la ilaha illallah, Sahir. Qul la ilaha illallah, Kahin. Until one time, he was doing sajjad, not very far from the Kaaba. The Kaaba is there, he was doing sujood. And then the Quraysh brought Salad Jazur, a camel who was pregnant, had aborted. The fetus had died in the belly of the camel. It came out macerated. It was rotten. It was stinky. It was bloody. It was filthy. They took the dead fetus, Salad Jazur, and put the back for Rasul, and he was doing sujood in front of Kaaba. His daughter comes crying, and she is crying, the daughter of Rasul, and wiping all the studs from the back of her father. And that's what Rasul got for doing da'wah in Makkah at that time, and also somewhere elsewhere. You know why? So that this deen, which is you and me, ala tabaqin min dhahab, so that we receive this deen on a golden plate. Tell me, how many tears have you shed for this deen? How many drops of sweat have you shed for this deen? How many drops of blood have you and me shed for this deen? This is how we got it. Ala tabaqin min dhahab. We got this deen in Islam on a golden plate. So easy. Umar was moving to Medina. All the Sahaba moved at night, but not Umar. He moves daylight. And he says, Ya Ma'ashara Quraysh, O you people of Makkah, Ana muhajirun ila al-Madina, I am migrating to Medina. Man arada an yuthaqqila ummahu ويغمل زوجته ويتم أطفاله فليلحق بي وراء هذا الجبل. If any of you wants to make his mother cry, and he wants to make his wife a widow, and he wants to make his children orphans, aitam, let him meet behind this jabal. You know, Makkah is surrounded by mountains. Let's meet in my path towards Medina. I'll show him. I'll cut his throat, and the children will cry, oh, Baba, where is our Baba? He'll be dead. Let him meet. And that's how Umar did his hijrah. Daylight, when the sun was out like this. But dear brother and sister, let's remember that Rasul says, Al-Muhajiru man hajara ma naha Allahu an. We still got a lot of hijras to do ourselves. Although the great hijrah of Rasul is over, but there are many hijras we are supposed to do. Because as Rasul says, whoever migrates away from sin, whoever moves away from sin, that is now the new hijrah. So we should leave hating each other, having hasad among each other, having grudge against brother Muslim. We should bring ukhuwat al-Islam, brotherhood of Islam. Doesn't matter what tribe we belong to. This is what the Rasul says. We should leave guts, mogoka, cigarettes, and all other sins. And we should go back to the Islam, pure Islam. And this is the hijrah that the Rasul says that we should not forget. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.